Hello there, and welcome to Atlanta Community Profiles program. And it's a pleasure to come before you again today. And for the last 27 years, I've published Community Profiles magazines that have been distributed by the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta. And we have 5 publications. They are in most all of the real estate brokerage firms and chambers of commerce. We email them out to all the realtors regularly. They're on my website, atlantacommunityprofiles.com. The magazines are also on the First Multiple Listing Service website, fmls.com, where you have 47,000 agents throughout the area using that website regularly for essential information to operate their businesses. And the website and magazines are designed to provide information about the metro area for people moving here and businesses moving here and purchasing homes and commercial real estate. And so if I can help you, if you have any questions or would like hard copies or have any questions about the website, my email is lou@Wieland, Wieland.com. And I'm also a commercial real estate agent with KW Commercial in the Roswell office. And I can help you with any of your commercial or residential real estate needs and interests. And my website for that is just louwieland.com. And there's a lot of information on my website about investing in real estate, which is my area of involvement and has been for probably 30 years or more. I won't say much more because I don't want to look too old. But anyway, it's been a while. So anyway, I joined Keller Williams in the Roswell office over a year ago, and it's been a phenomenal experience. I've enjoyed it very much, and it has been my pleasure to get to know and work with Aubrey Bailey, who is my broker over there. And his title, by the way, is Team Leader, CEO, Managing. His title takes up the whole interview. Team Leader, CEO, Managing Broker, Keller Williams Realty Consultant, Operating Partner, Keller Williams Realty, Southeast Alabama. So anyway, that's a quite a. I hope you're not paying by the word for that title, Aubrey, because it's not that easy to memorize. But anyway, Aubrey, it's been a pleasure. This is one of the brightest young guys I've had the opportunity to meet in my career in business. It spans over 50 years. And one of the things that impressed me the most about Aubrey is his heart for helping people and his staff, which is like over 200 people and counting. He graduated from Kennesaw State University in 2004, which is too young for me to even conceive of some days. But anyway, what a super bright guy. And one of the mottos that Aubrey has is following Zig Ziglar. And this has been, he has exemplified this every day in work in the office, and that is, you will get all you want in life if you help other people get what they want. And I've seen him practice that principle every day. Tell me, Aubrey, how has that principle served you well in business?
Great question, Lou, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to hop on this video call with you. Very grateful for that. And how's that helped in business? One word: fulfillment. The best example I can give you is, and we get this every day. There was an agent. Her name's Christy. She knocked on my office door probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and she said, "Do you have a minute?" I said, "Of course." And she came in and she shut the door. Whenever somebody shuts the door, you're all like, "Uh-oh, where's this going?" And I asked her what's going on. She started tearing up, Lou, and she said, and I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "No, nothing's wrong." She said, "I'm coming in to say thank you." And I was like, "For what?" And she said, "As you know, I've been in a couple other places for a few years. I've really struggled to get, some traction. And there's a couple of things you don't know about me. And one of them is that I'm a single mom. I have 4 kids. And for the past 3 years, I've been making promises to my kids. And every year I've had to look them in the eye and say, Mom can't do it, right? And this is when she started really tearing up. And she said, I'm coming in to say thank you. She said, because of the support, because of the people, because of the environment, my business has absolutely exploded. I've had the opportunity to help a lot of families this year. And this morning I was able to fulfill the promise to my kids. I said, Christy, what was that promise? She said, they've been asking to go to Disney World. And my oldest is at an age where he won't want to go anymore. Like, this is it. And she said, this morning I booked the trip. We're going next month. And she gave me a big hug and said, thank you. And like every time I tell that story, I get chills. It's moments like that make me love the opportunity to be in leadership and to help others. And if you haven't had the opportunity, anybody watching this, to be able to pour into somebody else and experience making a difference in their life, it is absolutely one of the most fulfilling things in the world. And it's what makes me love what I do.
Out of that, Aubrey, how would you prioritize your goals as a team leader and CEO of the Roswell office?
Yeah, great question. So, Lou, my goal every single day is to positively impact the lives of at least 3 people. That's through one-on-one conversations. And there's a quote by a lady named Susan Scott. She wrote a book called Fierce Conversations. Fierce, not bad, fierce as in good. And what she said in there, she said, while no conversation is guaranteed to change the trajectory of someone's life, any single conversation can. Meaning be willing to pour into people and help them and ask them tough questions and help guide them on the path that they really truly could be on. Sometimes you have to lend your belief in somebody else for them to believe in themselves, especially during this time, during a pandemic. A lot of people are questioning where they're at and what they're doing and are they making the right choices. And, there's a guy named Randy Ross, you might have heard. He said, are you going to remember this as the great pandemic or the pandemic that made you great? He said, never waste a crisis. And this is an opportunity, right? How are we making the most of it? How are we going to come out on the other end of this better than we are now?
Well, I need to walk by your office to get to my office every day, and often I see a sign on the front door of your office that says, I'm not available right now, I'm pouring into the life of an agent or something to that effect. What does that mean exactly?
So great question. That ties right back to positively impacting the lives of at least 3 people every day. And that's what I do. I one-on-one appointments, saying, where are you now? Where do you want to be? Success leaves clues, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let's figure out what is the quickest path to get there. Think about it like this. Let's say you're going to go on vacation and it's to a destination you had never been to before and you didn't know how to get there. Well, if you don't know how to get there, what's the first thing you do in the driveway before you pull out? Put it in the GPS, right? Because you got to know where you're going. Otherwise, drive around aimlessly and run out of gas. Our lives are no different. We first need to decide where do we want to go and then reverse engineer the quickest route to get there. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing all day is pouring into people, saying, where are you now? Where do you want to be? And setting that exact plan. And then a lot of those meetings, they're Zoom these days, some are one-on-one, how are we doing? What struggles do we run into? What do you need help with? Who can I connect you with? What's keeping you up at night? What's getting in the way? What's been the biggest roadblock? And it's so important to have somebody in your life because we grow into the conversations we have around us. And I heard somebody say 80% of someone's success is determined by the environment they're in. Like, who's pouring into you? Who's in your life or in your world right now on a consistent basis that's sitting down with you and saying, where are you now? Where do you want to be? Let's craft the plan to get there. And for most people, the answer is nobody. They don't have that person that knows how to go through that path and get them there, and how are we going to get there if we don't have somebody guiding us?
Well, Aubrey, I've been in buying and selling real estate for probably 40 years, my own personal and for other people. And I've dealt with a lot of real estate brokerage firms. And there are a variety of firms and growing. I have 47,000 agents look on the website for First Multiple Listing Service regularly. And so you're a bright young guy. I know you're going to be a superstar if you're not already. Maybe you are already. I'm just not aware of it, but you're definitely a superstar in my book. But what do you think makes a great real estate brokerage firm, in your opinion and your experience over the years?
Yeah. Oh, I love that question, Lou. So think about it like this. This is a National Association of Realtors stat, NAR, okay? And this is a scary number to me. 80% of the agents that get into the business are gone in 2 years. 80% of them, right? And the success that you have is going to be determined by the people that are around you and the system that you're plugged into and who's your support group. So it's so vitally important to be plugged in somewhere with somebody that's pouring into you on a regular, consistent basis. And one thing that I've loved specifically about Keller Williams, and there's lots of good companies out there, is the culture of giving, of sharing, of camaraderie, of teamwork. Any brokerage firm can teach you how to sell a house. Very few of them pour into you as much on the personal side and help you find that balanced life. There was a panel at a big convention earlier this year of women on stage. And what one of them said stuck with me for a very long time. What she said, Lou, is she said she had kids, and as many of us do. And she said, we get 18 summers with our kids, 18 summers, then they're gone. And they won't remember who made the dinner, Longhorn Steakhouse, McDonald's, or whatever it was, but they will remember who ate it with them, who spent that time sitting down with them, those moments, those memories, right? And we don't live to work, we work to live. So who's in your life that's helping you design that beautifully balanced life where you have time for your family? You don't miss the donuts with mom or dad. You're there, you only get one first birthday, one, preschool graduation, one elementary school graduation. How do you be purposeful about making sure you're able to be at those events and live a wonderful life? So that's one thing I love about KW: teamwork, camaraderie, culture, everybody pouring into everybody. And that's why I've stayed here this is my 15th year. Yeah.
Well, I worked for the Wall Street Journal and ran the Southeast office for 22 years. Before that, I worked on Wall Street with them and we competed with Forbes magazine regularly, and got to learn a lot about one of the editors and publishers, Malcolm Forbes. And Malcolm, one thing he always said, which struck with me, is, as the CEO goes, so does the corporation. Why is that true in real estate, in a real estate brokerage firm?
Yeah, speed of the leader, speed of the pack. And the leader really sets the tone for the whole environment. There's so many people in real estate, let's say any sales industry, right? You look at the different types of people that are out there, and this to me isn't a sales position. You're really a consultant. You're helping somebody with the most important financial decision, typically, of their entire lives. And there's a lot of emotion that is tied to that particular decision. So when you're looking at the different companies and the CEO and the managing broker or whoever you're working for at that office, what kind of a vision do they have for you? Do they truly care about you as a person? When's the last time they sat down with you and asked you about your goals? Like, what does a great year look like for you? Is that selling 30, 40, 50 houses, 100, 300 houses? Or is it selling 5 or 10 and having a balanced life and being there with your family? So for me as a CEO and being in different roles and watching how people lead, you want to have fun. You want to be in a place where people care about you. They make the environment exciting. They're casting a vision, and they're able to say what they see when they look at you. Like if you look at an agent and somebody that's struggling, and I say, when I look at you, I see somebody that's a top agent living a balanced life and is absolutely loving what they do, right? That's what I see when I look at you. Here's how we can get there, right? And we ask them what's important to them and put together those steps. Because I'll tell you, a lot of brokerage firms out there, the feedback that I get from other agents that come from other companies is their broker wasn't there when they needed them, so the support wasn't there. The broker didn't care about them personally, right? It was just numbers, just get them in, get them out, get them producing. They didn't pour to them as a person, and didn't help them grow. So for me, no matter where I'm at, I truly believe that quote that you kind of opened with by Zig Ziglar is, you can get everything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. So as a CEO, all I'm doing every day is pouring into other people, and I know on the back end, everything will work out.
Well, there are 47,000 agents in Atlanta, at least signed up on FMLS, and there's a lot of turnover. I think you mentioned a figure of, forgot what the figure was, 80% or something turnover. And turnover is expensive for an agent, for a real estate brokerage firm, because you have to retrain and train and retrain. What do you look for? when you interview potential prospective agents, what qualities do you look for when you interview people to come and work at Keller Williams Realty Consultants for Roswell?
Lou, I love that question. So I'll tell you this. I wish I had a crystal ball, right? Because I'll meet with some agents getting in the business or coming from another company. And I'll say, oh, that person is going to nail it, right? And then I'll meet another one and I'll think, I don't know if they're going to make it in this business. And sometimes they'll surprise you. What I've found, Lou, is there's a difference between ambition and drive, right? So ambition is, this is probably the most common thing new agents say when they get into business is, I want to make six figures. I want to make six figures. Drive is, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that I make six figures. So I'll give you an example. We were talking about Christy earlier, right? Single mom, mother of four. Talk about drive. If she doesn't work with enough families to support her own, they won't have a roof over their head. They won't be able to eat, right? So she has a lot of drive. So what am I looking for in agents? Some companies will only hire agents that are 100% full-time, right? The way I look at things is there's a lot of people who are wonderful agents and want to have a balanced life. They want to, maybe it's another income in the household, but maybe they want to use theirs to take their family on vacations and create memories together. So when I'm meeting with an agent and I'm deciding, like, are we going to get in business together? I look for a couple things. One of them, and this is what I say to every single agent that we work with, I say, we're going to pour into you. You're going to have more help, more support than you've ever had before. You're always going to have somebody to talk to, somebody that cares about you, somebody that top agents taking you to coffee saying, hey, here's everything we do, right? Copy it. It's yours. Take it. All I would ask of you is a year, 2 years down the road, reach your hand back to somebody that's starting off, just like you were. They're uncertain. They're fearful. They don't know what to do, and help them. Pull them forward. Go to coffee with them. Pour into them. I look for drive. I do want somebody that wants to make a difference in whatever capacity that is for them. I'm not necessarily looking for somebody to sell 500 houses a year. If they want to do that, great, right? I've been there. I got over 100 referrals for many, many years, right? Let's talk about that. But then you have other people that they want to live a balanced life, not sell a lot, but live a balanced life. Let's talk about that. Do you have the drive and the commitment, and do you have a good heart? And that's really what it comes down to, is having a good heart. Are you going to fit in an environment where people share, where there's camaraderie and teamwork? If the answer is yes, let's get in business together. If the answer is no, there's plenty of other brokerage firms out there, right? So we are particular on who we get in business with. Does that answer your question, Lou?
Well, yeah, it does. It's not inexpensive to train agents and work with them. And especially if you're trying to provide the best quality education and training, it can be very expensive and time consuming. And so the Roswell office has, at last I knew, it was 200 agents. Is that about where we are right now?
256 wonderful individuals with us right now. That shows us, and I'm very grateful for that.
What is
256.
156.
256.
Okay, so you've grown by, what, 25% since I talked to you last, and it hasn't been that long. Why are you growing so fast? Why are we growing? I mean, I have my opinion, but that's phenomenal growth. What are we doing right there? I can see what in your opinion, what are we doing so right?
Lou, what I see that's going right here is it's creating a magnetic environment that people want to be a part of. So literally every day I'm getting a call from an agent or two in our office saying, I've got a wonderful friend getting in the business and they need some guidance. Or I've got an agent I just had a closing with who's not really happy with the support and training and culture that they're getting at their current company. Will you please meet with them? And those first few meetings, Lou, especially agents at other companies, I'm not even talking about KW. Remember I said my goal every day is to pour into at least 2, if not 3 agents and positively impact their lives. Well, how do I do that? I meet with them, say, where are you at now? Where do you want to go? We don't even mention KW. I just say, here's step by step, here's some plans based on your goals. And then what usually ends up happening most of the time is we meet again. And by the end of the second meeting, they're saying, I've been at my company for 5 years. I've never had this, right? I absolutely love this. Is this what the environment's like? And then I always say, look, rather than taking it from me, somebody that has a vested interest in you being here, why don't you talk to a few agents at this particular office and ask them? And then it almost creates this snowball effect where this office, more agents not just chose, but chose to stay at this office than any other office in the Southeast region last month. And this year, it's looking like we're easily going to be the top agent probably at the end of this month already for the whole year, meaning they're happy. They're getting the help they need, the support, the camaraderie, and they're achieving their desires, what they want in life.
We're running out of time a little bit, but I do want you to talk a little bit about the market. What is the state of the market, and what does it look like over the next 12 months?
Yeah, that's probably the most common question that we get, right, Lou? How's the market? Where are things headed? So I'll make it quick and give you guys some actual helpful information. So there's 5 things you really want to look at when you're wondering where is the market? Is now a good time to buy or sell? 5 things. The first one is mortgage forbearance. The second one is notice of default. The third one is the unemployment rate. The fourth one is our mortgage applications for purchase, not refis, for purchase. And the fifth one are pending sales, okay? And I'll dig into each of those quickly so you guys have some numbers and kind of know where we're at now in the market and where it's looking like we're going, right? So mortgage forbearance numbers peaked at 8.6% here recently and have been falling steadily since that time. They're now a little less than 7.4%. And that's according to the deputy chief economist for First American Title Company. So they're keeping an eye on, what loans, what are they insuring out there that are in forbearance, right? The second one is notice of default. It typically, in a good market, hovers around 3 to 4%. Notice of default. Those are people that are, let me back up. Mortgage forbearance numbers, those are essentially people that are unemployed, they can't afford to pay their mortgage, and they're just kicking the can down the road. They're like, I can't afford it now, maybe in 3 or 4 or 5 months. So they call the lender and they say, hey, can we get on a mortgage forbearance plan? And the lender sets them up on that. Well, the problem with that is what if they don't get their job back in that time, right? Well, that could lead to notice of default, which leads to foreclosure, right? So notice of default typically hovers around 3 to 4%. It hit a peak in the bottom of the market, not recently, I'm talking back in like 2010, of 11.4%, okay? And that was the Great Depression. We recently saw a high of 8.6% in May of this year for overall delinquencies, right? However, that number, like I said a second ago, has been going down lower and lower and lower every single month since. So that's phenomenal. And I'll put some, if there's a chat, I can send you the links. I actually have links to all these articles so people can reference them and use them in their conversations if there's agents watching with their clients to give them the confidence they need to make the right decision for their family. So the third one is unemployment rate. It fell for the 3rd consecutive month. It's down to 10.2%. It was at 14.7% in April. Previously, before all this, it held steady around 3 to 4%, right? So at 10.2 currently, it's still pretty high, more than double what it should be, right? But for comparison, in the Great Depression, Lou, we hit 24.9% of unemployment, right? So the good news, here's the good news, like where's the market going, right? 1.8 million jobs were added last month alone, but there's still 12.9 million less people on payroll than there were in February. So, but if you think about that, if the current rate jobs are being added 1.5 to $2 million, 2 million jobs per month, well, then all those people, most of the people who lost their jobs should be back employed in less than a year. So the fourth one we talked about was mortgage applications for purchases. It's up 22%. That means buyers have confidence. They're out there buying homes. They want to buy a home right now. It's up 22% the past few weeks versus the same period last year. And the fifth one is pending sales. In July, Metro Atlanta was up 17.9% this year versus July last year, all the while inventory being down 41%. So to put that in perspective, 41% less homes available, 17.9% more under contract equals a really high demand for homes. There's not enough homes out there. So a lot of people are asking, well, what happens if these people don't get jobs back? The ones that are, unemployed right now, are we going to have this vast, rush of foreclosures and prices getting hit? The answer is not likely. Nobody has a crystal ball, but not likely. Why? There's a shortage of inventory. We need more homes on the market. And at the rate people are getting their jobs back, it's not looking like we're going to have a huge rush, right? Nowhere near what it was in 2008, 9, and 10. And even whatever does pop up on the market, there's not enough inventory right now. It needs the inventory. So right now, market is fiery hot. fiery hot. 34.7% of homes are selling for 100% or more of their asking price in 6 days. So now is a great time to make a move. All right, I gave a lot of information there, Lou. What didn't I mention that you wanted me to make sure to mention?
Well, one key thing too that occurs to me is the price increases over the last 12 months, and I'm pretty wired in with the website for FMLS. The magazines are on the FMLS.com website, along with some interviews that I've had with the president of First Multiple Listing Service. And if you go to FMLS.com, if you're an agent, you have to be an agent to go there, but you can hear some of those interviews and see what a brilliant leader we have at the helm of First Multiple Listing Service. He's state of the art in technology, but in any case, one of the things that you'll find on there, if you track some of the stats tab, is that prices have increased in the metro area about 4% over the last year, despite COVID-19. Why? How do you? How can you? And how do you reconcile that fact that we've had this pandemic? Despite that, prices have gone up dramatically, even a lot more than 4% in some areas. How do you reconcile that fact anyway?
Yeah, well, we all know that basic economics says that supply and demand. When there's not enough supply and demand is super high, it drives prices up. So when there's a shortage of inventory on the market, there's 2.1 approximately months of inventory on the market. That means if not another home went up for sale, they'd all be gone in 2 months. When historically it's 6 months of inventory, right? That means buyers, when these homes are hitting the market, you will see lines of cars, if they're priced right and look good, lines of cars down the street fighting for those homes, right? So that drives that price up. And a lot of sellers, their first thought is, what if we're near a peak? And what if the market changes, right? Well, the problem with that is this is actually a couple of good things. One, typically sellers need the money out of their current home to go buy the next one. So let's play that for a little bit. Let's say prices did go down. I don't foresee that happening right now. The market looks great. We'll see what happens 6, 12 months from now. Right now it's looking great. But let's say they did go down a little bit. Okay, well, if the price in the home they're going to buy went down, what would happen to the price on the home they own now? Well, that logically would go down too. Well, don't they need the equity out of their current home in order to go buy the next one, right? Well, great. Well, wouldn't it make sense to buy now, get that equity out when we're nowhere up? I mean, prices are phenomenal right now. This is the 97th month in a row that prices have gone up. 97th month. That's a long time, right? Wouldn't it make sense to get the money out that you need now, put it on the down payment, lock in a upper 2% interest rate on the house you're buying for 30 years and move on with your life? Your payment's going to be most likely a lot lower than what you have now if you're comparing apples to apples than it would have been. And you're able to move in that new chapter, get in the school district you need to get into, or get into the house that you really need to get to long term. It makes sense to move.
Well, we've been listening to and watching an interview with Aubrey Bailey, who is the team leader, CEO, managing broker, Keller Williams Realty Consultants in Roswell. And congratulations on all of your many successes and the outstanding job that you do in working with agents, 250 agents, but somehow you figure out a way to spend time with each one. And I assume that you don't really need any sleep or anything. So, but anyway, appreciate the outstanding job that you do. And if you'd like to get a hold of Aubrey, the phone number for the office is 678-287-4800. And Aubrey, I have your email address, but I don't have it at my fingertips. What is your email address?
Yeah, anybody can email me. And by the way, I'm very grateful. It's not just me that's helping all the agents. We have a big team, a big executive leadership team that helps all the agents. So it takes a group to be able to help, this size of an office. My email address is abailey@kw.com. Again, that's the letter A, Bailey@kw.com.
Bailey. Thank you, Aubrey. Great job, and look forward to continuing to work with you. Appreciate everything you do over there.
Grateful for you as well, Lou. Thank you.
Have a good day.
See you.